Hello, my name is Matthew, and I just read Mushrooms in the City by Italo Calvino. It's one of my favorite short stories by him, and I was reminded of it because a friend of mine just today found wild morels growing in her backyard, and she was wondering if she could eat them. And so it reminded me of this, and I just very quickly reread it. And this it's about this guy. His name's Marco Valdo, and he is a romantic, idealistic person that lives in the city, though he prefers nature. And he has a dreary 9 to 5 job at like a heartless factory. And while he's waiting at the bus stop, he notices there's a patch of mushrooms barely sprouting. You can't even hardly see them, but he knows the next rain they're going to swell up, and he's excited. And he goes home and he tells his family, he has a wife and 6 kids, that the next rain they're all going to have fried mushrooms, and he can nearly already taste them. And the children ask, well, where is this mushroom patch? And suddenly he realizes that he's possessive of these mushrooms. He doesn't want to tell his children because his children will tell their friends, and their friends will tell their parents. And his secret stash of mushrooms in the city will quickly be found, and so he won't be able to eat all the mushrooms that he wants. And so the next day he goes back to check on them, and he's bent over looking at the mushrooms. They're still not ready, and he finds behind him a street sweeper looking over his shoulder. And he kind of gives him a side-eyed glance, and we learn that he doesn't like the street sweeper because he sweeps up all the leaves and grass, and he likes to see little bits of nature. Well, he spends the week looking, tending, and watching these mushrooms, and finally in the middle of the night there's a great rain. He gets all excited because he knows the next day all the mushrooms are going to be ready for reaping. And so early in the morning he goes off, and he has a basket, and he's picking his mushrooms. And when he looks over, he sees that the street sweeper is also picking the mushrooms, and even says to him, "Oh, well, I already got all the big mushrooms at the other patch." And Marco Valdo is upset to hear this, that there's a patch that had mushrooms that were even bigger than his patch. And then all the neighborhood comes down. Everyone's picking mushrooms, and they don't have baskets, so they're using their open umbrellas to heap in these mushrooms. And everybody goes home, and they fry them up and eat them. And then let's see. They all found plenty of mushrooms, and lacking baskets, they used their open umbrellas. Somebody said, "It would be nice to have a big feast, all of us together." But instead, each took their own share and went home. They saw one another again soon, however, that very evening. In fact, in the same ward of the hospital, after the stomach pump had saved them all from poisoning. It was not serious, because the number of mushrooms eaten by each person was quite small. Marco Valdo and the street sweeper had adjacent beds. They glared at each other. Which is great. I love Italo Calvino. So I just thought I would share that with you. This will be my last video for the night. I hope that sounded as enjoyable as it was to read. And at 5 minutes, I've already spoken longer than it takes to read. So leave a comment if you would like, and thank you. Have a good night. Take care.